Welcome to another edition of DX Engineering Videos here from DX Engineering headquarters in Tallmadge, Ohio. And today we're very excited to have Chris Wilson, N0CSW, visiting us. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Tim. Well, thanks for having me here. I definitely appreciate visiting your fine facilities.
And we're very happy to have you here. You're representing Yaesu. And why don't you tell us a little bit how you got into amateur radio?
Okay, well, about 10 years ago I started working in the electronics industry, specifically industrial automation design and embedded systems and embedded controllers. About 4 or 5 years into that career, I met a friend of mine, Jim Scott, and he got me involved in the Joplin Amateur Radio Club in Joplin, Missouri. So it's Jim, WB0IYC, kind of took me under his wing. He was my Elmer. And I started to apply what I knew about electronics and software design to amateur radio.
Oh, that's very cool. So, I mean, are you active in VHF or are you active on HF? Tell us about your amateur radio experience.
I'm active on VHF, UHF when I'm in town in California a lot. When I travel around, I tend to work HF. I carry an FT817 with me, which is our QRP radio.
Right. And
a little in-fed antenna. I'm actually getting ready to move up to the Alex loop, which is a great antenna. And so I do a lot of QRP work on HF, specifically 20, 40, 80, and 160. So that's my favorite bands to be on QRP.
Oh, that's very cool. So you've got a lot of experience on VHF, right?
Yes. Actually, my company, Wilson Consulting, that I used to own before I came to work for Yaesu, we had several VHF and UHF products on the market, specifically heavy high-duty cycle repeaters.
Now, do you have some experience in emergency communications? I mean, you're from Joplin, and Joplin's had its share of situations over the years.
Yeah, actually, we just had an EF5 tornado back in 2011, and this May tornado outbreak back then. I have been really active with ARES. I've done a little bit with RACES, not as much because of the strict requirements of RACES in my schedule, but I did a lot with ARES. During the Joplin tornado, we did mount a search and rescue effort of about 25 amateur radio operators, and we had a presence at the EOC in Joplin, so I've done a lot with emergencies.
That's very cool. I mean, that's the whole reason we get to enjoy this amateur radio hobby, is that in times of need, you know, when all else fails, right? I mean, how did the cell phone networks hold up during some of those emergencies?
The cell phone networks held up, but in that type of emergency where you have to have an immediate response, amateur radio is definitely one of the ways to go, because you can key down a radio and get a response from somebody sitting right at the EOC at that time. So if you're actually actively out in the field and you're digging people out of rubble, you need an instant communication method, and that's where amateur radio steps in.
So you've had experience there. You've also gotten into some technical, some of the cutting edge part of digital communications. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Yeah. I started off. I've maintained several digital radio networks across the state of Missouri, and you know, in the United States in general. And I was involved in digital communications before I came to work for Yaesu. With Yaesu, I actually switched over to System Fusion for amateur radio. I was running P25, and System Fusion is a very similar technology. So it has a lot of the benefits of a commercial P25 system, but it has features in it that are geared towards amateur radio use, like some telemetry features and tracking features, and as well as our WiresX internet linking system that's an affordable solution to link. We found that in commercial radio, some of the stuff got expensive, so System Fusion is an answer that's designed for amateurs.
Oh, that's very cool. And you know, just seeing that technology applied to amateur radio and the things that it opens up, and especially from the emergency standpoint, is got to be, I mean, just fascinating for you to be all in on this.
Yeah, and like I mentioned about the Joplin tornado, I wish we had that technology, because some of the telemetry features of it and the fact that all of the radios have GPSs built into them, and right out of the box, most of the new Yaesu products that are coming out on the market have System Fusion built into them. So right out of the box you have telemetry, which is almost a necessity in an emergency. And you have some tools that work really, really closely with emergency communications, such as our digital group monitor, which allows you to see when a station is about to fall out of range, and also obtain telemetry information from them and store it should you need to go to a location and find that resource.
So As exciting the technology that you have at your fingertips today and that you help install all over the country, what do you think the future looks like? I mean, what's coming? What's next?
There's really no limit to that with this technology. Everything's firmware upgradable. So what we've done with System Fusion is we put out a product that is very well functional, but it's still in its infancy, meaning we have a long ways to go, and we have a channel to send new features to our customers. It's very, very easy to update a radio. So we can update the firmware on these radios easily. We can add new features. We can add new functions. And we're looking to the market right now, and we're really trying to pay attention to what our customers are saying and listening very, very closely, looking for suggestions on which path that this technology should take. So there's a lot of room for expansion in the product line.
Well, I've seen, there's a lot of buzz on Facebook and Yahoo groups, that are very focused in on what you guys are doing with this new digital technology and how it interfaces with what is the embedded analog world. So we're going to stay tuned, and we're very excited to see where you and Yaesu take this technology in the future. Chris, I want to thank you very much for sitting down today with us.
No problem, Tim. Thank you.
And it's great to have you here, and we're looking forward to a fabulous Yaesu day tomorrow here at DX Engineering headquarters. 73 from DX Engineering.
73.